Welcome to Today in Esports, your one-stop shop for all the latest news from all of your favorite esports. Over this weekend, we witnessed Goliaths fall left and right in upset after upset. Is this a year where new rising stars will be crowned champions for the first time? Let's dive on into it. Starting things off with Valorant, where over in Paris, the biggest tournament of the year is well underway. North American fans started Saturday with a heartbreak as they witnessed number 1 seeded NA team G2 Esports fall in their top 8 elimination match at the hands of DRX, the Pacific region's number 4 seed. To call this an upset would be an understatement, as many experts had G2 as favorites to win the whole dang thing. Also in that conversation is PaperX, who is not yet eliminated but was sent to the lower bracket earlier than expected in an intense 3-game series versus Fnatic in the upper bracket semifinals. This morning, we saw PRX defeat Team Heretics and DRX defeat MIBR. 4 teams remain in the tournament, each vying for the $1 million prize, with matches set to resume Friday, October 3rd. Staying within the scope of Riot Games, let's hop over to League of Legends, where Worlds is fastly approaching. Over the weekend, we saw several regions crown their domestic champions and solidify their seeding going into Worlds. Starting off with the LPL, it would be Top Esports winning the regional final to become the 3rd Chinese team to stamp their ticket to Worlds, alongside BLG and Anyone's Legend, who had already qualified. Invictus Gaming would become the LPL's 4th seed, meaning they will face off against the 4th place team finishing in the LCK, would then advance to Worlds, of course. Over then to Korea in the LCK season playoffs, we saw Gen G complete their lower bracket run where they would 3-0 KT Rolster, the very team that knocked them into the lower bracket in the first place, then go on to defeat HLE 3-1 to claim the 300 million won. In Korea's number 1 seed going into Worlds, Gen G, HLE, and KT have all punched their ticket directly into Worlds. Meanwhile, back-to-back world champions T1 end up as that 4th place LCK team and will have to play against Invictus Gaming in the play-in phase to determine which team advances into the Swiss stage. That match will be taking place on the very first day of Worlds in Beijing on October 14th. Taking a look at the West, the LTA Regional Championship in Texas saw its last 2 matches over the weekend, where the number 1 South America team VKS defeated the number 2 team of North America, being 100 Thieves, 3-1, before losing to the number 1 North America team FlyQuest in the grand finals, also 3-1. FlyQuest would take home $80,000 for winning the regional championship, and all 3 teams head to Worlds. Over in Europe, the LEC Summer Playoffs came to a grand conclusion with its last 3 matches. On Friday, Fnatic and Carmine Corp would face off for the last LEC slot for Worlds. The series was contentious, but ultimately Fnatic came out on top to claim their spot. They would then face off against MKOI for their round 3 matchup, but MKOI would be too strong to overcome. Ultimately, the bracket would end as G2 Esports would 3-0 MKOI in the final in an impressive fashion. Your 3 LEC participants for Worlds will be G2, Movistar KOI, and Fnatic. Here's a look at all 5 regions and their respective Worlds qualifiers. Moving into the world of Counter-Strike, we saw ESL Pro League Season 22 begin on Sunday, where 16 teams started their Swiss bracket. Notable early upsets were Ho2 defeating Furia 2-0, Inner Circle defeating 3D Max 2-1, and Gentlemates defeating Heroic 2-1. The 5-round Swiss stage continues today and will conclude on Thursday, where the top 8 teams will advance into Stage 2 Swiss, joining top teams such as Vitality, Spirit, Mouse, and Falcons, and current number 1 VRS team, the Mongols. Before we get into the rest of the news, a quick thanks to our sponsor, ASO. Thanks, A-Zone. Now back into the news. In Halo Infinite, we saw another TSM 5K happen on Sunday, where last week's champions Optic would shockingly fall in Winners Round 2 to relatively unknown squad Judgment Day. Optic would fight their way through the lower bracket, expected to make another Grand Finals appearance, but would then lose to a red-hot TSM in the lower semifinals. TSM would then go on to also upset FaZe Clan in lower finals to advance into the grand finals against Shopify Rebellion. Most recent LAN champions Shopify Rebellion will close out the tournament with a 3-1 victory over TSM, claiming the lion's share of the $5,000 prize pool. The Halo scene eagerly awaits HCS Charlotte, fast approaching this upcoming weekend, where teams will attempt to qualify for the HCS World Finals at the end of October. Now shifting gears into Call of Duty, we're still in the offseason, but that doesn't mean we don't have team changes to report on. The LA Thieves have announced their new roster, in which Kenny and Abizi have joined Hydra and Scrap for the beginning of the new season. Many teams are still negotiating contracts ahead of some expected announcements in the coming weeks. We also saw FaZe Kson announce a 2v2 LAN tournament in San Diego on October 18th for $25,000. Also, make sure you guys catch Call of Duty Next on Tuesday, where over 50 invited creators will be playing the new Call of Duty title live on twitch.tv/Call of Duty. For everyone else, the beta is open to the public this upcoming weekend. In other news, EA is reportedly closing a $50 billion deal to go private. As reported by Dexerto, the group of investors include Silver Lake and Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund. And if the deal goes through, this would be the largest leverage buyout ever. Lastly, in the world of Fortnite, saw another massive crossover, this time with early 2000s electronic music sensation Daft Punk. Players who tagged in were treated to a virtual concert of over 30 of Daft Punk's biggest hits, alongside visual light shows and interactive games to enjoy the music. The experience is still playable for the next month, ending on November 1st, so log on in and play it while you still can. Thanks for watching today in Esports. We'll see you again on Thursday for the next episode.